This video was supposed to be about reviving a $1,500 PC from 2017, but what actually happened turned out to be a literal nightmare. So this is the story. This was an eBay auction that I won for pretty cheap. It's about £30 and it was listed as just a bare bones machine. It has no SSD, it has no RAM, no GPU. So let's open this up and see what we managed to get. This is a Strix motherboard. Now this is a H270F. We also have a Corsair cooler here, but there is a problem. We have an Evo Labs PSU. Now these are notoriously terrible. Really bad PSUs, cheap, Chinese. So the aim here of today's video then is I do actually want to get this PC working to see if it actually even boots. However, I do not have a spare PSU and I also don't want to buy one. So I'm going to try and make this Evo Labs PSU work and hopefully it doesn't burn my whole house down. Now, our biggest problem is going to be that 4-pin CPU cable that we're going to need to fit in the 8-pin. I believe one-sided it should fit and it should be enough power to power this machine. From the listing, this should have an i5-7600K. So here is my solution to the RAM situation. We have got 2 sticks of 8GB RAM there, that G-Skill RAM that I did get back when I built the server for only £20. So I'm just going to grab these from the server for now, stick them in that machine and see how we get on. Also, there is a spare SATA cable here that I'll grab too because we're going to need that for the drive. So we'll install the RAM first. Now let's install the GPU. There we go, we'll just secure this in with a screw. Now we just need to install our SSD. So we have all of the components now installed and we should theoretically have a functioning machine, provided this actually turns on, and we have made it into the BIOS. At this point, everything was going well. The PC was running, the BIOS looked good, and a fresh copy of Windows was installing, until this happened.
Okay, so a little update for you guys then. We have hit our first major error, and I actually can't get to boot into Windows. Now the reason for this is I get an error that says CPU over temperature, and when I get into the BIOS, the CPU is sitting at 80 degrees while literally in the BIOS. So I think there's something wrong with this cooler. I don't know if it's just not pushing it through the pipes correctly or if it's somehow backwards. It might be that it just has no paste in it, or the paste is dried up, or perhaps the cooler is backwards. I'm not sure yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and investigate this. Okay, so I've got the PC back on the workbench and I have just noticed something. So obviously we're gonna go ahead and check if this needs paste, but I'm pretty sure the pipes on the AIO cooler are actually supposed to be here on the right hand side. Okay, so you can see that it does have some paste. There is also some paste on the CPU. It doesn't look that bad, so I'm probably just going to leave it and rotate the cooler and hope that that is the solution that we're looking for. If not, I'll go ahead and just repaste it. Right guys, I believe that this is now the correct orientation, and I have a feeling that this is what was messing up the temps. So we're going to go ahead, reset it back up, see if we can actually get it booted this time. Alright guys, so it is 12:30 AM. I have been f***ing around with this for absolutely hours now. I just cannot get the machine to post. I mean, you can hear it running. It has the green light on the Mobo, which should suggest that everything's fine. I've flipped the AIO cooler multiple times to get it in the right orientation. I think this is correct, but no post. The 960 I've taken out and swapped in a 1070 I have laying around just to see if that could fix the problem if the GPU's dead. Took a stick of RAM out, moved this one to the second slot, tried again, still nothing. Took out the SSD just to see if we could actually get to the BIOS screen. Took the CMOS out multiple times. And yeah, we're getting absolutely nowhere. Alright guys, so it is the next day and I've just been digging around in my parts drawer here and I realized that I do have this. Now I think this is technically wrong. I believe that the PC has the LGA 1151 socket, and I think that one might be for a 1153 possibly. However, I think I should still be able to make it fit. I mean, I've tried everything else. We've replaced the GPU, we've took the RAM out, reseated it, took the drive out. It can only really be the motherboard or this CPU cooling. So we've got the cheap CPU cooler. It's very dodgily mounted. It's definitely not tight, but hopefully this will give us something. I've just thrown the fan from the H80i cooler in there as well, just to give us a bit of extra airflow. I've put the second stick of RAM back in, so let's see if we can actually get her to post this time. All right guys, it seems we've hit a bit of a roadblock. We have no display. I've removed the GPU, stuck it in the motherboard instead. We've got the cheap CPU cooler installed and still nothing. The only thing I can think of that is possibly causing this much of a headache is gotta be that PSU. I think if we want to rescue this PC, we're gonna need a PSU.
So I did exactly that and got this 600 watt EVGA power supply from eBay. Things looked promising with the new PSU on first boot and we actually managed to get into the BIOS again. However, this would be the last time I ever got display. If we look closely in the BIOS, we can see that despite having 2 RAM sticks installed, the motherboard was only recognizing one and the AIO pump was not running at all. I switched the coolers over again with the new PSU and still we had the same issues.
So even with the new PSU, we still are having no luck at all. This PC is giving me the biggest headache ever. And as you can see, it doesn't really look like a PC anymore. I pulled everything out of the case, stuck in a 960 for testing just to see if the 1070 has a fault. And yeah, I've moved the RAM around everywhere. So yeah, we're gonna do a bit of fault finding here to see if we actually get anywhere. We get lights on, the keyboard light comes on, we just never get any display, even with this GPU or the 1070, or just trying to use the integrated graphics.
And without another test board for the build, our plan to revive the $1,500 gaming PC from 2017 has officially come to an end.